CRC_classroom observation. Required. Classroom observation. Choose the option that is best fit for the class you observed. 12.1a The classroom is well maintained and organized. Available space is not well maintained and organized. Available space is maintained to some extent. Available space is well maintained and organized. Available space is well maintained, organized and optimally used for learning purposes. 13.1b The classroom is well maintained and organized. Classroom is not clean. Classroom is clean to some extent and the dustbin is available but not used. Classroom is clean and the dustbin has been used. Classroom is neat and clean and dustbin available and used. A cleanliness chart is available in the classroom. 14.2 The classroom is print-rich with grade-specific materials and is used appropriately. Print-rich materials are rarely available, not displayed in the class and not grade-specific. Print-rich materials are available, displayed, grade-specific but rarely used. Print-rich materials are available, displayed, grade-specific and sometimes used in the class. Print-rich materials are plentifully available, displayed, grade-specific and mostly used both by the teachers and students as per need of the activity. 15.3a Teacher ensures positive reinforcement to motivate and encourage students. Teacher listens rarely to the students and responds. Sometimes the teacher listens patiently to the students who answer correctly and responds. Teacher listens patiently and carefully to each student and responds both verbally and non-verbally. Teacher always listens and responds to each student by using positive and encouraging words with elaboration. 16.4a Teacher has up-to-date lesson notes for the class. The teacher has no timetable, lesson note and scheme of lesson. The teacher has timetable, scheme of lesson and lesson note which contains low activities and assessment questions but not up to date and has not followed during the teaching learning process. The teacher has up-to-date lesson note which contains low activities, assessment tools and reflection note and teaches as per the plan note. The teacher has up-to-date lesson plan note which contains low activities, assessment tools and reflection note and teaches as per the plan and whenever requires, changes the plan note for maximizing the learning. 17.4b Teacher has up-to-date lesson notes for the class, for FLN grades. The school has no dedicated timetable for FLN instructional time slot. The school has dedicated timetable but not the required time and it is partially followed by the teacher. The school has dedicated timetable as required but it is partially followed by the teacher. The school has dedicated timetable as required and it is diligently followed by the teacher. 18.5a Teacher uses learning outcome-based materials to facilitate exploration and further learning. The teacher uses textbooks only during the teaching learning process and no other TLM. The teacher uses textbooks and other TLM supplied, library books, FLN materials, FLN grades, supplementary materials during the teaching learning process and some students use the material. The teacher uses the TLM made or collected by him, her along with supplied materials, FLN grades, and most of the students use the materials. The teacher uses the TLM made and collected by the students, the community along with supplied FLN materials, FLN grades, and most of the students use the materials for learning. 19.5b Teacher uses learning outcome-based materials to facilitate exploration and further learning. The teacher uses the learning materials for discussion. The teacher uses the learning material for discussion, demonstration, and clarification of the concepts. Students use the learning materials for discovery and exploration of the concept under the guidance of the teacher. Students use the materials for self-learning and collaborative learning. 20.6a Teacher uses varieties of strategies, questioning, citing examples, etc., to develop students' critical thinking. Teacher puts simple and direct questions and cites examples. The teacher puts indirect questions, cites examples beyond the textbook, and conducts hands-on activities. The teacher puts application-based questions, allows students to give examples from the immediate environment, and conducts hands-on activities, encourages students to prepare simple. 21.6b Teacher uses varieties of strategies, questioning, citing examples, etc., to develop students' critical thinking, FLN grade. Teacher does not ask questions during oral language development activity. Teacher asks only close-ended questions during oral language development activity. Teacher asks mostly close-ended questions during oral language development activity and asks also few open-ended questions, reasoning, analysis, comparison and giving an opinion, etc. During oral language development activity, the teacher asks both open-ended, reasoning, analysis, comparison, giving an opinion, etc., and close-ended questions. 22.7. Teacher gives day-to-day examples and activities linked to the content taught. The teacher uses examples only from the textbook. The teacher rarely relates the classroom content to day-to-day life, beyond the textbook, FLN material. Teacher sometimes uses examples of day-to-day life to relate the content. Examples and experiences from their own life are shared by both students and teachers as well as teacher encourages them. 23.8a. Teacher uses formative assessment, assessment for learning and assessment as learning technique and provides specific feedback to facilitate learning. The teacher does not use any assessment technique after the end of the lesson nor encourages the students for their improvement. The teacher is not giving homework. The teacher assesses the students both orally, in written form, after the end of the lesson and encourages some students for their improvement. The teacher assesses the answers by himself, herself. The teacher is giving homework. The teacher assesses the learning both orally and written and uses other techniques like observation, projects, etc. during the teaching learning process and encourages most of the students for their improvement. The teacher creates a situation for peer assessment. The teacher is giving homework and not neatly connected. The teacher assesses the learning both during and after the teaching learning process and uses multiple tools to support each student, and encourages the students after assessment to promote learning. The teacher encourages students for self and peer assessment. The teacher is giving homework, and which is neatly connected and giving feedback. 24.8b. Teacher uses formative assessment, assessment for learning and assessment as learning technique and provides specific feedback to facilitate learning. The teacher neither undertakes weekly and periodic assessments nor encourages students for their learning improvement, for FLN grades. Assessments at irregular intervals and she does not encourage students for their learning improvement. The teacher undertakes weekly and periodic assessments to assess students' learning but only encourages few students for their learning improvement. The teacher undertakes weekly and periodic assessments to assess students' learning and encourages most of the students for their learning improvement. 25. Any feedback and suggestion.